All right. You're tuned into the podcast. We Civilization, We Caribbean, with your host, Brother Irie. And today on our program, we have the guest. Our guest is the author. He's the author of the short prose, All Are We Is One. And his name is Mr. Giovanni Herbert. We have him here from, where you from? Where you say you're from? I'm from the Virgin Islands. All right, a young brethren, we greet you with the highest greeting, promoting the I-ness of the Almighty. I am that I am. Yes, greetings, Brother Irie. Greetings, Brother Irie. Blessings to be here, on the launch of your program, I take it an honor to be on this program with you, and, I hope that the listeners really gain a lot, from what we share here today. Yes, as you know, we have a short span in this segment of the program, We Civilization, We Caribbean. Again, I want to get into this book, All Are We Is One. When I saw this book, I said, man, I got to get this man on my program. And, young Hobart, I see it here in front of me, and so we're going to get right into it. The book is a short and sweet. However, in this, again, as you mentioned, you recognize the short segment of the program. You express some ideas in your prose, You express some ideas, and I would like you to elaborate on some of the chapters. But first, what does All Are We Is One mean? Well, when you think All Are We Is One, you think about it, we on this program, it's a Caribbean program. It says We Civilization, We Caribbean. And, I chose to come on this program because, the influx of us as Caribbean people, just wherever we are, wherever we go, you could easily identify us, And so, when I think All Are We Is One, it doesn't matter the location we are. We still is somebody from foreign come to wherever we are. I could be a guy, right now we in the Virgin Islands, and if I was to be in any other Caribbean islands, right? Though and a foreigner, when I say foreigner, I'm talking about someone from North America or Europe, was to meet me in, say for instance, St. Lucia, and just see my movements, they would think that, well, this person might reside here, not just because of the description of my complexion, but just their demeanor. Just the same, I had an experience while living in California, and while I was there, I met a guy from Nevis. The guy I met from Nevis all the way in California, he isn't your typical Caribbean description because he was a Caucasian guy, a white dude. And the man, but the way he carry himself, I see the guy repping the ice gold and green. And for those that don't know the ice gold and green, yeah, we know what the ice gold and green is, my brethren. This is We Civilization, We Caribbean. The ice gold and green is the red, the green, and the yellow. Yes, yeah. So he's rocking the colors. And when I spoke to him, I heard the kitchen in the guy's voice. He said, "Well, you want, you come talk to me and all of this and that." So it was really live. And as I was writing the title and I see that All Are We Is One, there's some things that just pick up the location where we were. We were at a Bob Marley birthday fest. How they had the Bob Marley fest in Florida and they have it in California. And so, all right, pause there, Mr. Pause there, because, we getting into one of the title, the one of the, the chapters of this prose book that you have, right? As you mentioned, I see what you're saying with All Are We Is One, because no matter where we are, you're saying that you could identify us, you could, there's some things that's similar. The nomenclature of us is just riveting. Okay, but one of your titles of your book, right? You talk about you know, it's entitled CXC. Yeah. So let me get into that, right? But before I get into that, I just want to show, just to close off your initial question as to, the meaning of Allah we is one. The intent of my book was really to highlight that although we may be located in different places in the Caribbean, we are all of the same ingredients, and the idea was that when you read the book, you will recognize those ingredients. It's just that some of us are cooked differently, you know. But even when we cook similarly, using the same ingredients, the same methods, the same sauce, we then name it different. So you know what I mean. I might cook something and it might be called one thing, but then you cook it the same way and you call it another thing. And like I mentioned with a guy in California, you could say, you look at us, and if you were to do a lineup as to what we look like to say who's from the Caribbean, you would not have pegged both of us. But it is in the divulging, it is in coming up to us both face, you realize, and reading us, you realize all of we is one. All right, brother. All right. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving with this with the program again. The time is winding down here on us because we have again limited time on the program. We got to respect it. So you have a title called CXC. Explain this title. Well, brother Irie, really what I was doing is paying homage to a test that we usually take in the Caribbean. Is the CXC. However, if you break down the title of that as you read it. Yes, I read it, and I was like, oh, I see what you do here, Yeah, when you read it, right, you'll see that the title says Caribbean Expression and Culture. You know what I'm saying? So, although we take the CXC, and this exam is a secondary exam, as for some people they go on to 6th grade, for others it's to college, right? But secondary students around the Caribbean take this test, especially those that make up the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, which right? So, what we have here is, in this portion of the text, I spoke as to how every Caribbean island has festivals. Every Caribbean island, we express ourselves through music. We have expressed ourselves through sports, and I use different snippets there, because some people may call a festival a fete. Some people call a fete a juve. Some people call a juve a party. So it depending on how you grow up and your background. We like I mentioned initially, we may call it one thing, but it means the same. And if you look at us historically, the people that came from the Caribbean, just like Bob Marley, you had your Celia Cruz, yes sir, Azusa, listen to you, you know what Azuka mean? I believe when you're pouring the horse on the spot, man, you're pouring the horse on the spot, it means sugar baby. All right. But yeah, so all of those things is the levity and the liveliness of us as Caribbean people, even with our passion with sports, and that passion that we have, whether it be from our parents, watching cricket and looking at those people as heroes for us in the Caribbean. If you look abroad, and we're easily able to mesh in with other Caribbeans that have adopted other cultures, way of living, because they look to them as those heroes. In essence, you could say sports has been our way to peacefully engage in war. If you look at it, around the time of Hitler and these guys, we had the Olympics, and there were people that represented in the Olympics, and especially that look like us as Caribbean folk, being the majority usually being dark. Well, big man, I want to touch on another topic, because again the time has almost eluded us. But you have another title of your book called Mike. Explain that Mike for me. What I mean. Explain that. Well, brother Irie, when I say Mike, it's really, again, it's an acronym for Motion in the Caribbean. Okay, motion in the Caribbean. But then you're saying motion in the Caribbean, but in what way? In what way? Talk to me now, because I figure if you're saying Mike, it would have been up in the other topic with your Caribbean expression and culture. You understand? Well, yeah, well, really, the motion in the Caribbean, this segment really was just speaking on how, emancipation and migration, even indentureship is still something that we are experiencing today. So, as a result of being emancipated, or emancipation now step, as Bob Marley mentioned it, from our mind, and so we have to emancipate ourselves from the mental slavery, as he mentioned. But we are still slaves to different things, whether it be things that we look at in vanity, whether we look at or careers, what I'm saying, or even relationships. And then the migration still happening today. It's just a lot of these stuff has evolved, in the past, especially Virgin Islanders, when around the World War time, where stuff wasn't coming in influx, we had to find work, and you will hear this story amongst the West Indians, having to go to different places to try to work. And so you have a melting pot in different islands, in different parts of the world, which still shows how all are we still connected. All of us are still one. And then even indentureship, some of these stuff was spun off and got this definition as a result of the end of slavery. But indentured labor still takes place today. In the Caribbean here, we had the hurricanes, and as a result of those hurricanes, people left certain islands and they had to go, whether they went to North America or they went to other Caribbean islands to help, or even to walk and find work. They became laborers of some kind. And so, as we see, we may speak a different way, we may have different accents, but all in all are we still one. Well, that's the time, but I really want to thank you for stopping in and sharing with us a little bit of your book, All Are We Is One. I mean, you spoke on some things there, I wish we had like an hour to mesh this out, but, until next time, this is We Civilization, We Caribbean with your host, Brother Irie. And again, we want to thank Mr. Giovanni Hobart, the author of All Are We Is One, for coming on the program. Until next time, see ya.